I'm Greg Grugan, and welcome to What's Your Point, where our panelists call it like they see it. Let's greet them. Starting us off, former Houston City Council member Sue Lovell. Next up, well-known attorney and conservative commentator Gary Polland. In the 3 spot, longtime super neighborhood leader Tamara Bell. Batting cleanup, Bob Price, associate editor of Breitbart, Texas. And closing us out, writer and public policy consultant Charles Blaine. Let's begin. The apprehension and deportation of those living in America without permission is underway, with more than 5,000 immigrants arrested during President Donald Trump's first week in office. A heavy emphasis has been placed on those immigrants considered dangerous.
Right now, we're concentrating on public safety threats and national security threats. Anybody in the country illegally, they're on the table, but we're going to go after them in a prioritization that makes sense. The worst first.
The worst first, says Border Czar Tom Homan, and the list of those already captured and ejected is compelling. Drug dealers, human traffickers, rapists, and even those wanted for murder. Those living in so-called sanctuary jurisdictions no longer safe from the legion of federal agents deployed by the new president to fulfill a core pledge of his campaign. On the border with Mexico, Texans welcomed what they hope is a new, far more secure future.
We do have that fear of who's coming over, who's crossing, but I am glad that something's going to be done about that. And if mass deportation is the answer, I guess there has to be, something has to be done.
After initially refusing to accept plane loads of deportees, Colombia's president reversed course and fully complied under threat of severe sanctions from the Trump administration. Panel, my question is there any indication the president will pause after this worst first roundup? Bob, I'm going to throw that at you. You're kind of our expert on this.
Well, first, the Colombian president didn't just cave on this issue, sent the Colombian equivalent of Air Force One to come up here and pick up these deported migrants and bring them back to his country. I just want to say, you know, President Trump promised that he would take a bite out of crime and bite out of illegal immigration, and he's doing exactly that. It's been 14 days tomorrow. During his first week in office, they deported almost as many people as came into the country illegally. So 5,200 some odd people were removed from the United States, criminal aliens. About 5,500 came in, which was a 55% drop from Joe Biden's last week in office. So you're seeing the impact. One of the things that I've said all along is the way you stop illegal immigration is migrants have to know with absolute certainty that if they cross the border illegally, they will be returned to their country of origin or back to Mexico. That is happening today, and it's happening very quickly. Breitbart's going to be breaking some news this week on some other things that are going on along this line, and I urge everybody to stay tuned for that.
Tamara Bell, independent thinker, you have been hawkish on the border, saying what was going on during the previous 4 years was unsustainable and needed to be reversed. What's your impression of this first week?
Well, if it was truly for the criminals, I don't have no problem with it. I have zero problem with it. Let me be clear with that. As I said before, had they left the previous administration's border crossings in, we wouldn't be in the scenario we're in. But nevertheless, in I can't say that. I can't say the part of Houston. Anyway, in a part of Houston where at this restaurant, they came in and they took 2 cooks. One of them had been there 6 years with like 5 children. The other guy had been there like maybe 3 years. And yeah, I watched Breaking Bad, but this ain't Gustavo's Chicken Hot Shack. And I really hope they're going after people and not just the working public, because if they do, your meat finna go through the roof. Your vegetables gonna go through the roof. Your fruit and Colony Ridge gonna be wholesale. Okay.
All right, Gary. You know, there is that threat that the flip side to lots of deportation will be an increase in inflation. Thoughts?
I'm not really concerned that that's going to happen. And
Because you got money.
we need to protect our border. It's been neglected for at least the last 4 years by the Biden-Harris administration, and we have all these illegals who've entered. We have gotaways. We have terrorists who've come in, and we need to do it. You're not a country if you don't control the border. So this idea now we can't do this because it costs money. Well, suddenly the Democrats don't want to spend money. Usually it's like, you want to spend money on that? Great. It doesn't matter what it is. And the American people clearly gave Trump a mandate to do this, and I think the priority is going to be the criminals first, and then we'll see where we're at. We actually do need some immigration reform. We do need work permits. We need to have people that are coming in the country legally to work and have permission to do it.
The wise Sue Lovell has suggested let the Republicans own it, right? All of it.
Look, you know, they're like the dog that caught the bus. I mean, you know, it's theirs. They own it. And the way they do it, they have to own that also. You know, first one thing, I don't like when we call them aliens, because aliens are like from another planet.
That's not true.
It is.
Look up the definition
It's just,
of the word.
look, these are people we're talking about, okay? Not aliens. They're people that are here illegally. Yes, they came here for a better life. They're here illegally. They're being deported, you know, but being deported can be done with some sort of respect in the way you do it. They came here for a better life. Now they have to return to their country. God knows what's going to happen to them and what's going to happen there. My deal is, if we have all these resources and we're catching all these criminals, why don't we go ahead and get all the citizens, U.S. citizens that are out on bail and have gone and violated their bail and should be caught? Hey, let's do a whole sweep.
Well, maybe we'll have
Let's get everybody.
We're going to hear from Charles Blaine in the next segment.
What?